Hey there guys, welcome back to NIMBY Rails. For the second and last time I am joining you from the future for this series, because again my audio recording did not work. So today we are continuing with C2C. We've built the line from Fenchurch Street to Barking, Barking to Grays, Grays to Pitsea and Upminster to Grays. So now we've just got Upminster to Pitsea to Shoeburyness left. So that's what we're doing today. We'll start from Upminster. Past me has his map on the other screen telling him what to do, and we just get these periods where nothing happens. Movement. Okay. So, first station to build is West Horndon. It's about there, so 200 metres, and it's actually given it the right name first time, so that's impressive. Then we move on, and just along the line, a short distance is, I think, Langdon. If I remember correctly, here's me trying to recall stuff from 2 hours ago, which is awfully dangerous. Or, well, more like 4 hours ago. It's awfully dangerous of me. Don't typically recall stuff well. And then I seem to have skipped straight to Pitsea, which I'm not sure is correct. Because for a start, there's a Basildon station. So I think I determined there's another station here, in this gap. And then I think there's possibly another one. I'm unsure though. There might not be. Is there another one? Clearly not. We're going to go and build the track out of Upminster, so I guess we're done. So again, it's just a matter of following this little groove of trees. So we're coming around the last corner now down to Pitsea, I think. So we're almost there, joining back up with the line from last time. And then we start working out to Southend and Shoeburyness. This line gets an awful lot of service for what it serves. I gather Shoeburyness is a seaside destination, it's a holiday destination, and so Southend definitely is, but there's so few towns along here that I can't imagine how the trains get so full with how many there are. Because Southend gets 6 trains an hour in, Shoeburyness only gets the 4, but Southend gets 6 trains an hour into London. If you've got an every 10-minute service, that's approaching metro-like frequency. Really don't need more than that. I don't see how these trains... I guess maybe they run short trains. I don't know if they run 4-car or 8-car. I'd assumed 8-car just because of how few services there are and how many trains they have, but maybe they only run 4 cars. I don't think they run 12. I don't think their platforms will take 12, especially Limehouse. I mean, I'm gathering there's another one here, that's why we're focused on it, but appear to be an awful lot of consideration going into it. There we go. Which one's this? This Westcliff? No. Shortquell? Shortquell? Who knows? I can't do pronunciations. And then this is Westcliff, I guess. I remember Westcliff existed along here. Delete the massive name that it gave it. Just Westcliff, that's all it needs. And then Southend on Sea. So I take a bit of time here because the OpenStreetMaps map looks completely different to Google Maps, and so it takes a bit of time to work out where the station actually is. So here we go, I've settled on the position. So Southend Central again has 2 through platforms and a bay, so in this case 2 through platforms and 2 bays. One of the half-hourly services terminates here. One of them terminated back at Grays, and the quarter-hourly service continues on to Shoeburyness. So the service terminating at Grays is the one that runs alongside HS1, down through Rainham and Purfleet. The one that terminates here runs up to Upminster, then down to Grays, and then back up to Pitsea. The one to Shoeburyness runs through Upminster and Pitsea, avoiding Grays. through Southend, not Southampton, and along to Shoeburyness. Here's Southend East, I would assume. Just in the middle of the residential area. If I end up renaming it, there we go. And then, what do we have next? There's not a lot of stations out here, but there is another one, apparently. I wonder what it is. I move it slightly. Clearly I was not happy with that positioning. Because there's so much else down here. Thorpe Bay. Any more? Or are we done? Any more? Any more? Nope, just Shoeburyness. Fair enough. Shoeburyness is just, I think it's technically 3 platforms, but there's only 1 service running down here, so it only needs 2. There's a bit of a depot. I think it's technically just sidings, but we chose to put a depot in anyway, because that's the only way you can really represent sidings. And sort of squeezed 3 in. And then the main line into the station runs outside, around the back of them. Or around the front of them, depending on how you want to look at it. So run that line down into the far depot, and then 2 sets of points off into the closer ones. Like so. Then there is a siding next to the station that I think I end up deciding to put in anyway, even though it's just a section of track that serves no purpose. And then we build back along through all the stations, so through Thorpe Bay, up to Southend East. I hadn't realised until I built this quite how close to Southend Shoeburyness was. I have been to Southend before, albeit not by train. I hadn't realised Shoeburyness was basically the same town. So we come out of Southend, even through Chalkwell. Then place your bets. What's next? Because I've already forgotten. It's a narrow gap to get through. I remember the narrow gap. That was a little awkward to navigate. Leigh-on-Sea. I don't know how to pronounce it. I determined that in the original video. I do not know how to pronounce Leigh-on-Sea. Then Benfleet, or I can't quite see. It's a bit too small on my screen. Not brilliant quality. So I'm kind of guessing. Benfleet. Then up, and it might just be back to Pitsea now. That might be it. I realised I'm meant to be above that road. So slightly adjust the location. Then continue on. And yeah, it's just Pitsea left. Just got to get across that field. So just work out probably meant to follow beneath that path up into the line I've already got. Connected up, and it comes in at what, 100, 200 million? I can't quite see. So is that 101 or 191 million? So the whole thing total, all of C2C together, would have cost less than £500 million. So you could easily do it with half your starting grant. Trains will cost a bit more. That's what I've determined today. I don't know if it would be profitable or not if it's the first thing you built. Maybe. Maybe it would be. Who knows? So now we're going to put the line in, or the first line in. I think we start with the Fenchurch Street to Shoeburyness line. After I set the prices, because apparently that's more important than the name. So CC for C2C, SRY for Shoeburyness to FST for Fenchurch Street. We'll start from Shoeburyness because we'd rather have it wait for its turnaround and its interval outside of the London terminus. This is just something I've typically done. I didn't do it on South Eastern, it was problematic, but I did it on SWR and I think I did it on Southern because there would be platform sharing going on in the terminal at London. It was easier to have them wait outside London, although Southern had an issue then because the Brighton mainline services always ended up waiting in Brighton instead. But yeah, for C2C it's not as important because this route doesn't share a platform with anything else. The other routes only share a platform with one other because there's only 2 other routes. So it's not a big deal, but it is ideal to not have them wait too long there. So have its 15-minute turnaround at Shoeburyness is preferable. So we've made it to Barking, or Upminster, sorry, next stop is Barking. We run fast past all the underground, so we're basically removing passengers from the underground at this point. Competing service. We don't pick up the intermediate stops, but we do have a faster service into central London from Upminster, Barking and West Ham. And I know quite a few people will use it to get from Barking and Upminster to West Ham to pick up the DLR or the Jubilee line round into central London. Fenchurch Street, not as useful. It doesn't connect to anything. So now we're just working back out, making sure we select the right platform in Barking because the outer platform can't be used. And yeah, I'm just commenting on how some trains will go up onto the lines into Stratford and Liverpool Street. And that's why the other platforms are in Barking, even though we can't use them. Stop at Upminster. Continue out, do all the stops on the way out to Pitsea. And then down through Benfleet, Leigh-on-Sea, Chalkwell, Westcliff, Southend Central, Southend East, Thorpe Bay, and Shoeburyness. Then set the correct interval, 15 minutes. Now, I don't know which train I'm using yet at this point. I know now, in the future, editing, but the me of the past playing the game has no idea. So we go and have a look at trains. Now, C2C normally operates 357s and a couple of 387s. At the time of recording, we had neither of those in the game, and I used a 377 to represent a 387. Not 10 minutes after stopping recording, I installed from the workshop the Bombardier Electrostar pack, which includes both the 357 and the 387. So, by the next episode, I'll have probably replaced them. Maybe. No guarantees. But at time of recording, we used the 377. So just working out how many carriages we want. They run in 4-car sets coupled together to make 8 cars, so in this situation we'll run an 8-car set. And it does a max speed of 161, which I'll soon work out is what I was looking for in the first place, not purchasing it. So go back to the lines, put in 161, set speed, work out the number of trains needed, which I believe falls to 9 or 10. We'll see, I guess. There's 1, and I'm cloning it for another 9, so 10 then. And then we'll just do another one of the routes. There'll only be 1 left. I'll do the last one off camera. We'll quickly do the Fenchurch Street to Grays service in a second. Here we go. CC, agree, which was correct, and FST via, and then I had to look up Raynham because the Raynham code I know is the Kent one, not the London one. So there we go. R&M. Set the ticket price, 5.05. Try and duplicate the colour, but I didn't actually copy the first colour, so gotta go do that. Paste it in. And then start setting up the service. Out of Grays, out of the Bay platform, Purfleet, and then following HS1 up to Raynham and Dagenham Dock, then into Barking, and again not using the other platform because we can't, and then on to East Ham, except we don't stop at East Ham, West Ham, Limehouse, and Fenchurch Street. A point to mention is the first service I set up, the quarter-hourly service from Shoeburyness, only 2 of them stop at Pitsea, West Horndon and Limehouse. Technically, but I have made all of them stop because it's just easier. I'm also not sure why you wouldn't have all of them stop, because in reality, 8 trains an hour, if you had them having different stopping patterns on the way into London, then it's just going to be worse than if they all stopped. The fast ones are just going to get caught up behind the slow ones. I don't know why they wouldn't all stop at Limehouse, other than the fact that Limehouse is not a very well used station. It is an interchange, but yeah. So there we go. Set the game to running, see the first train appear. It was a bad idea because the game lags, so I'm going to end it here. I'll set up the last C2C service between episodes. Who knows what we'll do next time? We'll have to start a new company because this one's done. Whether it's Anglia or GWR, or might even do the West Coast Main Line, at least as far as Birmingham, who knows? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.